One of the things I tell parents that are interested in coming to our school as I walk around and we tour the space, I always say the same thing. I always tell them that the arts are why your children want to come, but if our academics aren't strong, it's why you will pull your students, and that's as it should be. They need to hear me say that, because it's easy for us, because we're unique and there's no other school like us, and the arts is what makes us so unique. It's easy to just go there, but the academics, it literally is, if we don't keep that as at the top of our anything in the region, families do and should find a different choice, because at the end of the day, it is about their academic learning, and I do believe that it's possible to keep both the arts and the academics equally strong. I don't think one has to be sacrificed for the other. How that works for us is that one of the things I can see why schools do not, what I call, customize the academic side of the education for students, because it's a challenge to do that. And by what I mean is, if a student is in 6th grade and is at grade level for English but needs to be in a much higher math class, we do that. If we have 8th graders that really should be doing English 1, which is a 9th grade class, but they need to stay at grade level for math, we do that. It's crazy making on the scheduling side, but I so am committed to respond to what the students need, that it's worth the headache of trying to figure out how to make that work in a schedule. I know parents very much appreciate that is our stance, that we don't say, well, your student can't do X because they're only in 7th grade and they're not going to get that till they're in 9th grade. Well, no, if we have evidence and data to support that this is a good move, we will do that. And so it really is a unique approach to pushing our students. As a result, we're getting more and more of our students also coming to us from their sending schools identified as in the gifted range in their IQs. And it seems to be that parents and the students understand that gifted students need that creative side of them nurtured and encouraged. And some of our, it seems like what we're hearing is that some schools don't understand that. They think it's all a left brain, very rigid sort of approach, and actually it's the opposite that these students need. And because we're a public school, we have everything. So we do have students that are identified gifted, and we have students who are way below grade level. It's not because of their brain power, it's really mostly because of deficits in what the sending school has maybe missed or whatever. So we take that charge very seriously to help them get up to the grade level, or to get at the place where they need to be and beyond, not just to get to grade level. So we have everything in between. You can't talk about academics without talking about all the other groups that are here, because we're a public school. We have special ed students, and we welcome them. I mean, we welcome anyone who has a desire to be in the arts. It doesn't matter. So it's a different approach that we have to create to support them in their academic classrooms as well as the art side. So the other thing that's really changed the more that we have established our reputation in the community is that the latest round of hiring that we did, we had people seeking us out, and people who have a lot of experience and made deliberate choices to leave what they had been doing to come to us. And that, to me, is one of the best indicators of what we are becoming in the community, that professionals are making that decision to want to come to us. In the early days of a school, you don't have enough to prove that we are what we say we're going to be. It's, you're still creating that, but it's clear that the word is out that we are a school that people want to be associated with and are making career choices to do that. So to me, the academics is all about the faculty. It's curriculum is important, of course. Content is important, of course. Strategies, that's important. But it really, it has to be the right people in the classroom, or none of those things actually matter. So more and more we are filling these halls with exactly the right people, and that's very exciting, because that, again, is back to the students. They are the ones that get to benefit from all of that. I describe myself as a principal that tends to say yes to an idea before we think about how it's going to work. And often my colleagues, and when I've been principaling in other places, they often, if an idea was floated to them or just a concept, it would be no, because, and then they're automatically going to why it won't work. I tend to always be the other way. So Makerspace came to us in that fashion. Someone that we work with suggested that we do a pilot on 1 day a week during the second semester to create a makerspace area for a certain grade level. We did it with 7th grade. I wasn't really sure as I listened what makerspace was, because I've never seen it in action. It sounded intriguing because it's about technology and it's using math and engineering, but it's with the whole creative side. It's not just the tech side. It's inventing, and it's getting them doing it first before they start getting vocabulary and concepts, and they discover things in a deeper way because they've discovered it rather than just being told on in a lecture. So I said, yes, let's try this. It's a pilot. Let's see what happens. I would go up there just during that pilot, and these are 7th graders, and sometimes I couldn't even understand what the kids were telling me, because some girls were writing code, and I just, clearly they knew what they were talking about, and I was just, as an adult, blown away that they were being very serious, and they knew exactly what they were saying and why they were saying it. And I just kept nodding my head and going, whoa, this is amazing. So when the opportunity came to, it grew into an idea of how can we do this for all of the grades all the time? How can we have a space that this will work for everyone? And so I do a lot of recruiting with faculty. I didn't mention that people approached me, but I didn't necessarily always take the people who approached me, because maybe that wasn't the right fit, but I also would hear about people and I would go to recruit them. And so we were able to hire someone who is over the moon to be able to have a makerspace area every day, all day, for students. I intentionally designed it to not be a class that the students are taking. That was intentional. I wanted them to discover what the makerspace area was, to use it like a library, to just walk in and say, what is this? What goes on here? Because then it's back to speaking to their interest and their desire to want to enter into it, rather than on an elective sheet, I'm going to take makerspace. Maybe someday we'll do that when more and more students really understand what's going on in there. It's really delightful to take visitors to that space and see the students in the space, because they can verbalize very clearly what different parts of the room are, why they do something, every week there's a design challenge. They can articulate what their own design challenge is if they chose not to do the one that's on the board. So the reason I'm talking about makerspace in the context of academics is because it's sort of the perfect bridge between the creative artsy kids that we have here, who are also very challenged and love to be in a science, math, technology place. Those two things are compatible, and often people seem surprised to hear me talk about the high level of math and science that we have here, thinking it's just about dance or it's just about making music, and it's actually, our students are very firmly in that lane. So as we are preparing to rewrite our charter, it's up for renewal at the end of 5 years, and we're approaching that. We're going to embed the whole concept of STEAM, which is often schools are called STEM schools for science, technology, engineering, and math. But when you add the A for arts into that, it becomes a STEAM school, and now that we see the profile of our students, it's a natural way for us to keep encouraging that inventive design approach to any challenge that is based in science and technology. So that's also very exciting. It's really fun to watch the students realize that they can do something. And it's back to that confidence building that the arts is creating. It's happening in the design that they're doing in Makerspace as well. So it's all over the place. It's happening all over.